40 different downloads on it just for WinAlign. We don't care about WinAlign right now. Go to frick away. I want it to minimize. Never mind. Mm. He's a pastry chef. He's allowed to ask about that. So, Service Wallet. When you click down on Service Wallet, you can do Service Wallet, wheel balancers, or tire changers, okay? You're going to have to download. I'll get to that in a minute. Right now, tire changers, okay? We're going to start with tire changers because we're going to do tire changers, okay? So, I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with engineering or Hunter engineering, but we always put the really, really important stuff at the bottom of the page. So the Hunter hash how-to, the executable, the instructions for creating a flash drive are all at the bottom of the page. All right, okay, we're going to go back up to the top of the page. You can make 2 versions of software. You can either make 1.8 version of software or you can make 1.9 version of software, okay? I don't care which version of software you make, whether it's 1.8 or 1.9. Do whatever you would like to do, okay? If you notice, there is a program, and this technically this D24, we were dumb enough, we couldn't do TLD program and TLD data because then that would be helpful. So we had to do TLD program and then this monstrosity of a name which doesn't say data, which is data. So your program drive is which drive? Red drive. Data drive is the black drive. All right, so you're going to have 2. No, don't put them in now. You're hours away from doing this. Okay, I haven't even begun to explain. All right, so we're going to come down to the bottom, and I'm going to talk directly to Josh, and hopefully one of the 2 of you can follow along with me. Okay, you got to be a little computer nerdy, but let's go. If I have a CD and I'm copying the CD to my hard drive, I have the original and I have the copy. When I tell Windows to copy and paste, Windows goes over to the copy and counts all the ones and the zeros, and it comes up with a checksum number that says this amount of data equals this number. When it writes the data onto my hard drive, it counts all the zeros and the ones that it wrote on my hard drive and comes up with a checksum number. Since I know what the original checksum number was, I know what the new checksum number was, I check the 2 numbers. 6, 7, okay. The 2 numbers have to match, okay? You guys, I don't know if you guys have ever copied something on a Windows computer and you came up with a very weird cryptic message that said cyclical redundancy error. That means it counted zeros and ones and came up with 27 and wrote it and counted zeros and ones and came up with 26. It knows it missed something. It knows it missed something. Here's the problem. You don't have the original. I have the original here on the Hunter servers. So we upload this stuff to the Hunter servers and we count all the zeros and the ones. There is a program called a hash program. Now we couldn't just leave that alone. We had to make the term even weirder, so we call it Hunter hash. Okay? I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying that's what happens. Okay? We know that when we put this file on the server, it equals this. When you download it, you have to run this other program to count the zeros and the ones to give you a code. And this code have to match each other. So instead of using the term hash, you can use the term checksum if that makes it easier for your brain to deal with it, because it's basically a checksum error. Okay, so I'm going to go back up here. Okay, lost my pokey stick. Where's my pokey stick? Ah, here's my pokey stick. All right. So when you run the hash program, it's going to spit out a number. You do not have to check all 26 characters of this number. If you check the last 6 of this number, if the last 6 are correct, the first 20 are going to be correct. Okay? So it gives you a really long number. If you're a Boy Scout, you want to check all 26 of them, you can check all 26 of them. But as long as the last 6 or 7 are good, you're going to be okay. Okay? So, are you ready? It gets better. All right, so you guys are going to start downloading the tire changer page, the balancer page, and the Win-A-Line page, okay? Every single one of these pages has the same file format. There's going to be a name, and inside that file, every single file name is going to be the same, right down to setup.exe. So if you think you're just going to take all the files and throw them on your thumb drive, you are going to have one copy of something good that you've overwritten 39 times because every single file is named the exact same thing. So what I'm going to do tonight after you guys go home is I'm going to share with you guys my tree, my Win-A-Line tree, or my File Explorer tree, where it's, like there's a folder that says aligners, there's a subfolder that says spec updates, there's a subfolder that says Win-A-Line updates, then there's a file that says balancers, and then there's a folder that says 1.8, a folder that says 1.9. Inside the 1.8 folder, there has to be another folder that says program and another folder that says data. So the tree keeps going down and down and down and down and down. Because if I don't do that, everything is just going to keep constantly getting written over. To make it even better, when you download the file, we don't allow you to change the destination format. So you can't put it right on the thumb drive or it fails. You're welcome. So you have to download it to your C drive, and it's going to download into your C drive downloads. Okay. These files aren't that big. This file is 2 gigs. That's not bad. If you download the 2026 spec update, it is a little over 5 gigs. Okay. Every time you download it into the download section, every time you run the hash program, it counts every zipped file in your downloads folder. So if you keep all 40 of your downloads in the downloads folder, every time you run that hash, it's going to recount the last 20 folders you've already downloaded again, and then count the 21st one. Forever. 5 gigabytes of zeros and ones is going to take a minute, okay? So I'm going to share a second email with you that literally spells this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what I do is, first thing you're going to do is you're going to download the hash, because you have to check everything else after the hash. Okay, so you're going to download the hash, Windows 10 or higher, because no one in here has Windows 7. Okay, here's the instructions in case. These are the instructions for your homework. So you're going to need these instructions, because in your homework, after you download the hash and after you download these 2 files, you have to use this to make those files, because it's an imager, because we're making an image on the drive. We're not just making a drive. One of the drives is an ISO. It's bootable, okay? Which means you can't read it, but it has data on it, all right? So when you get to Windows, when you get to Win-A-Line and there's 40 different downloads, you're going to download the first one. You're going to check the hash. The hash matches. Then it's still compressed. For those of you who have trouble with a compressed folder, think of it when you take all your clothes and you put it in your luggage and you zip it up. We zip the file closed. If I don't do that, 2026 spec update has around 19,000 files in it. I would either have to run the hash 19,000 times, or if I put it in my luggage and zip it up, I can just run the hash one time on that 5 gigabyte file. I would rather do it once than 19,000 times. So it's compressed. You have to ex, extract. Like when you get to where you're going, you take everything out of your luggage and you put it down and you hang it up. You have to extract all of that data out of that file folder because it doesn't work. So then, when you extract it, you're going to tell the extraction program where to put it on the thumb drive. But when you tell it where to put it on the thumb drive, it's easier to have your tree built on your thumb drive first with all of your files and folders and subfolders and subfolders, so that when you're extracting the data, you can just tell it where to go to. Okay. You still have the zipped folder in your download section. For those of you with a big enough hard drive, take that zipped file and make a new folder on your C drive that says C Service Wallet Backup, and take that zipped file and put it into there. Because if something ever happens to your SSD drive, you don't have to re-download everything all over again, because you're going to have 50 files in zipped format that all you have to do is unzip to your new SSD drive. But that way you don't have to go through the pain of downloading all of these files again. Okay. I'm going to warn Josh now. We limit the speeds of our downloads. Josh is going to go back to the hotel and he's going to download 40 things at once. If you try to download 40 things at once, we're going to be like, I don't know what Josh is doing, but he ain't doing it today. So it's going to take 3.5 days, because we're going to give out 1 byte of data on all 40 files, and we're going to go back and give it another byte of data. So the best thing I can tell you guys to do is break up the service wallet, because if it sees 10 people trying to download the same file, it treats it the same. So someone start at the top, someone start in the middle, someone start at the bottom, so that we're passing each other, so we don't trip the really super geeks over there who are trying to protect the world from Hunter Engineering Software, because they will do it and they're good at their job. So you have to take your compressed full file out of downloads and put it into the backup file, so that the next time you download a file and you run the hash, it is only checking the hash on that new file. You don't need to check it on the old file. You already did it. It passed. You can check it again if you like. But after a while, you get done wiping, you don't need to wipe anymore, right? So you just, get done. So move it, download a second one, check the hash. If the hash passes, extract it onto the thumb drive, move it to the backup folder, okay? I've had like 4 years now trying to explain this, and that's about as basic as I can make this explainable, because it's that's just that it used to be a lot more. It used to be harder.
Run it through the hash, make sure, hey, everything's there.
Right.
Cool. Once it's there, you're gonna move it to. I'm gonna move it to backup, and then. Well, I mean, you guys want to have a pizza party later in the lobby?
Right.
Pizza party in the lobby later.
You can either extract it and then move it, or you can move it and then extract it. Either at that point or so. I do have. Yes. Well, no, you can't even extract it to that. That you have to run this imager program, right? So you have to take your extracted, because that can't do a zipped folder. So you have to take your extracted folder on your SSD drive, and then from your SSD drive, which this will also be on your SSD drive, you will run this program from the SSD drive, tell it, hey, I need this folder to be an ISO image on this thumb drive. All right, and that's. Yes. Theoretically, the data drive is not an ISO file, only the program drive, but you still have to use the same program to do both drives. Okay.
You could use, I can use this SSD to start, right?
Sure. You'll just have to copy 80 gigabytes.
Yeah, do it later. It's
Yeah.
fast. It's not a big deal.
You're not going to do 80 gigabytes at once. Windows gets a little snippy when you try to do that many.
Mac is fast.
Yeah.
Not in parallels, it's not.
Yeah, so do one folder at a time. Because if you do two folders, the data gets a little wonky and it's not good. Okay. And then you're going to treat that like a bank, right? Because again, foreign USB drives have STDs and there's not enough penicillin to fix that. So you keep that clean and you keep it, keep it clean, keep it greased, keep it running, right? There you go. I know, right? Who made a song about that? Kept his motor running clean. Who was that? Skid Row? What was that? I don't know. Anyway. These folders here, you can probably all download these 4 folders in 20 minutes. They're only two. When you get into the big 4.5, 5 gig folders, it'll take 40 minutes. It'll take an hour. Especially at the hotel where the Wi-Fi is free and slow. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to send you the emails of how I did my Windows file thing, and I'm going to give you also the steps so that you guys can just read the steps on what to do with the files. Okay. Tomorrow morning when you get in, we will check. So tomorrow morning we're going to take the data and the program drive out of that, and then each and every single one of you can put yours in. All we're going to do is turn it on. If it boots up, if it doesn't boot up, then you get the wah, wah, wah.
Okay, you have to do that first try tomorrow. Perfectly on.
And these flash, and this information's not on the special tool.
No. I had to give this speech 40 times in 40 minutes to people that were not listening. There would always be 1 or 2 people in every class that was a nerd, and they would get it. And I could tell about 5 minutes in the people that had never copy and pasted before, because they were just like,
Yeah, I had
1 hour.
They're like, what computer you want? Oh, 21?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
CC moving your mouse? Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, we're not downloading this from China.
Everybody clicked it.
because we limit our yeah.
Oh, there's no way.
The what now?